Is it possible to work for God your entire life, to wear the habit of a holy order, to spend your days in service and prayer, and yet, upon the moment of death, find yourself wrapped not in the embrace of heaven, but in a terrible, suffocating garment of fire? Is it possible that the very duties we perform, the dishes we wash, the work we do to support our families, the service we offer to the church, could become the fuel for our purgatory if our hearts are not in the right place? We often think of the afterlife as a tally of good deeds versus bad deeds, but there is a deeper, more frightening, yet ultimately liberating truth hidden in the Diary of Saint Faustina. There is a specific entry, a chilling encounter that stands out among the visions of rays and angels. It is a ghost story, true and documented, of a soul who came to visit Sister Faustina. This soul was not a murderer, nor a thief, nor an atheist. She was a nun, and yet she appeared in a state that would make the blood run cold. She was dripping with burning wax. Why? Why would a bride of Christ suffer such a specific, agonizing fate? The answer she gave, Saint Faustina, changes everything we think we know about being a good person. It reveals that God does not look at what we do, but how we do it. Before we open this door into the supernatural reality of purgatory, let us anchor ourselves. The things we are about to discuss are heavy. They are real, and they remind us of the immense holiness of God. But we do not face these truths alone. We face them standing in the ocean of mercy. I invite you, right now, to create a sanctuary of safety and intercession in the comments below. We are going to speak of souls who need prayer, perhaps even souls from your own family. I ask you to type the words that break the chains of fear. Jesus, I trust in you. And if there is a name, a departed loved one, a parent, a friend, whom you wish to place under the protection of divine mercy today, write their first name beside that prayer. Let this act be the beginning of their release. Now, let us journey back to the convent in Poland, to the silence of the corridor, and to the lesson of the soul dripping with wax. We must understand the context of Sister Faustina's life. She lived in a world of routine. To the outside observer, her life was monotonous. She worked in the kitchen. She worked in the garden. She answered the door. It was a life of duty. We all understand duty. You have duties. You have to wake up early. You have to care for aging parents. You have to deal with difficult bosses. You have to clean a house that only gets dirty again the next day. We often resent these duties. We do them, but we do them with a sigh. We do them with a grumble in our hearts. We think, as long as I get the job done, it doesn't matter how I feel about it. But the vision of the wax nun tells us that the grumble matters more than we can possibly imagine. It is recorded in entry 58 of her diary. The atmosphere in the convent was likely quiet, the stillness that settles after the day's work is done. Faustina was praying, her soul tuned to the frequencies of the invisible world. Suddenly, the veil thinned. She saw a figure. It was a sister who had died recently, a woman Faustina had known, lived with, and worked beside. But the woman she saw was not the woman she knew. This soul was in a state of terrible torment. Faustina describes seeing her covered in rags. But these were not just old clothes. The vision was visceral and terrifying. The sister was engulfed in flames, but not a clean fire. She was covered in burning wax. It dripped from her, heavy, hot, and suffocating. The wax clung to her spiritual form, a sticky, searing reminder of something she could not shake off. Imagine the horror of that sight, to see a face you know, distorted by such specific suffering. Faustina, whose heart was always filled with compassion, did not run away in fear. She did what a warrior of mercy does. She engaged. She asked the question that we all want to ask, why? Specifically, Faustina asked her why she was suffering in such a peculiar, agonizing way. Why the wax? Why the rags? The soul confessed the truth. And her confession is a warning to every single one of us who feels busy with life. She told Faustina that this suffering was because of how she treated her duties on earth. She had been responsible for many tasks in the convent, likely tasks involving the care of the chapel or the sacristy, places where candles and wax were common. But the issue was not the wax itself. The soul said she had been too attached to her duties. She had performed them, yes, but she had done them with a grudging spirit. She had clung to her own way of doing things. She had perhaps complained that others weren't doing enough, or that the work was beneath her, or she had done the holy work with a cold, mechanical heart. She had let the duty become an idol, or worse, a burden she resented, rather than an offering of love to Jesus. The burning wax represented the cold, sticky nature of her heart during life, how she let the material things and the tasks cling to her soul, hardening around her, preventing the true fire of God's love from penetrating. Now, in purgatory, that hardness had to be melted away, and the process of melting a cold heart is painful. This vision strikes a nerve because it is so relatable. How often do we help someone, but deep down we are angry that they asked? How often do we donate money, but with a spirit of annoyance? How often do we serve our families, but with a silent narrative of martyrdom running through our heads, thinking, nobody appreciates me. I do everything around here. The soul of this sister is telling us God sees the attitude. He hears the silent complaint, and that complaint, that lack of love, creates a residue on the soul. It creates the rags and the wax that must be burned off before we can enter the pristine, blazing purity of heaven. But the story does not end in horror. The diary is never a book of despair. It is a book of rescue. Saint Faustina, seeing this suffering, did not judge the sister. She did not say, well, you should have been nicer. No. She immediately went to work. This is the rescue mission of divine mercy. Faustina understood that this soul could no longer help herself. The time for merit was over for that nun. She was in the hands of justice. But Faustina was still on earth, in the time of mercy. Faustina began to pray fervently. She offered her own sufferings, her own prayers, throwing them like cool water onto the flames of the suffering nun. She brought this soul to the feet of Jesus, and then the miracle happened. The rescue was confirmed. Some time later, the soul appeared to Faustina again, but the scene had changed completely. The horror was gone. The rags were gone. The dripping, burning wax had vanished. The sister appeared radiant, beautiful, her face shining with the reflected light of God. She was free. She had been released from the purgatory of the wax, propelled into the glory of heaven, thanks to the intercession of Saint Faustina. She looked at Faustina and said simply, "Thank you." This transformation gives us two powerful keys to unlock our own spiritual freedom. First, it teaches us the power of our prayer for the dead. We often assume that when someone dies, they are gone. We cry, we mourn, and then we move on. But Saint Faustina shows us that the relationship continues. We have the power, right now, to unlock the prison doors for our loved ones. Your grandmother, your father, your sibling who passed away, they may be waiting for your prayer, just as that nun was waiting for Faustina's. They may be dealing with their own wax, the remnants of earthly attachments, and your rosary, your chaplet of divine mercy, your holy communion offered for them, acts as the solvent that dissolves those chains. Second, and perhaps most urgently for us who are still alive, this story demands that we examine our morning offering. Jesus spoke to Saint Faustina many times about the value of the little things. In another entry, he told her, "My daughter, you please me most when you meditate on my sorrowful passion." But he also said, regarding her daily tasks, "It is not the greatness of the work which pleases me, but the greatness of the love with which it is done." Listen to that again. Let it sink into the marrow of your bones. It is not the greatness of the work which pleases me, but the greatness of the love with which it is done. The nun who dripped with wax had done great work. She was a nun. She gave her life to the church. but she lacked the great love. She had the form of godliness, but she had allowed the spirit of love to wither into routine and resentment. Jesus is telling us that a mother who changes a diaper with a heart full of love for God is doing a greater work than a preacher who speaks to thousands with a heart full of pride. He is telling us that a man who works a factory job, offering every bolt he turns as a prayer for his family, is building a cathedral in heaven, while a philanthropist who gives millions just to see his name on a building is building nothing but a shack of straw. The wax is the symbol of doing without loving. So, how do we avoid the fate of the wax nun? How do we ensure that when we close our eyes in this world, we do not wake up wrapped in the burning rags of our own resentment? We must practice the alchemy of intention. Every morning, we have a choice. We can wake up and say, "Oh no, I have to do this again." Or we can wake up and say, "Jesus, I offer you this day. I offer you the traffic I will sit in. I offer you the difficult conversation I must have. I offer you the dishes, the laundry, the reports, the emails. I unite them to your cross. Let every action be a drop of love for you." When we do this, we change the substance of our actions. We turn the wax into gold. We turn the rags into royal robes. There is another moment in the diary where Jesus reveals the depth of this reality. He shows Faustina that there are souls in purgatory who suffer specifically because they broke the silence or spoke uncharitably. But the remedy he offers is always trust. He tells Faustina, "I am love and mercy itself. There is no misery that could be a match for my mercy. Neither will misery exhaust it, because as it is being granted, it increases. Think of the wax nun again. Her misery was great. The fire was real. But the mercy of God, activated through Faustina's prayer, was greater. The fire of purgatory is a fire of purification, yes, but it is ultimately a fire of longing. The soul burns because it finally sees how beautiful God is, and it realizes how many barriers it built against him during life. The wax burns because it doesn't belong on a soul made for God. We have a chance today to start melting that wax while we are still here, where it is painless to do so. We melt it through confession. We melt it through forgiving those who annoy us. We melt it by doing one small thing today that we don't want to do, and doing it with a smile, specifically for Jesus. Imagine the gaze of Jesus upon you right now. He is not looking at your resume. He is not counting your awards. He is looking at the invisible intentions of your heart. He sees the wax of your worries, your grudges, your reluctance, and he offers to take it from you. "Give it to me," he whispers. "Give me the burden. Do not carry the resentment. Do your work for me, and I will make your burden light." As we close this reflection, I want you to visualize that nun again, not the terrifying vision of the wax, but the second vision. See her radiant. See her free. That is the destiny God wants for you. That is the destiny he wants for the loved ones you named in the comments. Purgatory is not a dungeon of God's cruelty. It is the hospital of his holiness. But we can shorten the stay. We can heal the wounds now. Let us make a pact, you and I, as devotees of mercy. Let us not be souls of duty and grumbling. Let us be souls of love and offering. Next time you are faced with a task that makes you sigh, stop. Close your eyes for 1 second. Picture the wax nun, and then say to Jesus, "Lord, I do this not because I have to, but because I love you. I scrub this floor for you. I drive this car for you. I endure this pain for you." If we do this, we will find that the wax does not stick. We will find that our souls remain light, aerodynamic, ready to fly to him when the time comes. Jesus promised Saint Faustina that the souls who trust in his mercy will not be put to shame. He told her, "The graces of my mercy are drawn by means of one vessel only, and that is trust. The more a soul trusts, the more it will receive. So let us trust him with our past sins. Let us trust him with our future judgment, and let us trust him with our daily duties, transforming them from heavy chains into wings of love. Thank you for walking into the mystery of the diary with me today. Remember the names you placed in the sanctuary of the comments. Scroll through and pray for one other person's loved one listed there. Let us be an army of intercessors, washing away the wax of the world with the water of our prayers, until we meet again in His merciful heart. Remember, the fire of His love is the only fire that matters. Jesus, I trust in you.